Hello, guys, and welcome to Thursday's Read Aloud. We've made it another week. Today we're doing Thursday, so skills lesson, skills practice. Now remember, the practice link is just the assignment in a worksheet form. So when you open this up, it's going to say read making sense of the national anthem, and then it gives you this to do. Now, this is the questions. You can either answer them in your journal or refer to the under skills practice worksheet version, which is right here. Your choice of how you want to do that. What I want you to do now is open up your reader and open up to chapter 12. Where did I go? Chapter 12, making sense of the national anthem. If you need to pause to do that, you can. So, making sense of the national anthem. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago. There are some old words in the poem. Some parts can be hard to understand. Let's look at the words and try to make sense of them. On the next page is the first verse of the song, the part we sing before a sporting event. Can you read it 2 or 3 times? Or is the short form of the word over? So let's read this. So take the time we'll read it together once. Hold on. So, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? That's the first verse of the Star-Spangled Banner. To make sense of the Star-Spangled Banner, it helps to think of what Francis Scott Key was doing the night he wrote it. Key was watching the attack on Fort McHenry. In the poem, he describes the attack as a perilous fight. That means it was a dangerous battle. During the battle, Key kept his eye on Fort McHenry. In the poem, he mentions the ramparts or walls of the fort. But what Key talks about the most is the U.S. flag that he could see flying over the fort. Key says the flag is spangled, or dotted with stars. He also talks about its broad stripes. When the wind blows, Key says these stripes blow back and forth. They look like they are streaming or rippling in the air. Have you ever seen a flag look this way? And here's a picture of it doing that. When the U.S. flag blows in the wind, its stripes appear to stream and ripple like waves. In the poem, Key describes 3 different times when he looked for the flag. First, he tells us he looked for the flag at the twilight's last gleaming, or just as the sun set. Since it was not dark yet, Key could see. He saw that the flag was still flying over the fort. That was good. It means that the troops had not given up. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. Key tells us he also looked for the flag at night. You might think he would not be able to see much at night, but Key explains that the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air light up the night sky. These flashes of light helped him see. They gave him proof that the flag was still flying. Key looked for the flag again just before dawn. This time he could not see it. Remember, the attack on the fort had stopped just before dawn. There were no more bombs bursting in the air. There was no more rockets' red glare. It was dark. Was the flag still flying? Had the troops in the fort given up? Or had the British? In the time before the sun rose, Key did not know. At the time, he had a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. And here you can look at this picture. That's Key looked for the flag 3 times, at the twilight's last gleaming, at night, and then by the dawn's early light. Look back at the words Key wrote. Do you see the question marks? There are 3 of them. An important thing to understand about our national anthem is that it starts with a set of questions. In the first line, Key asks a question. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming? Wow, that's a long sentence. Suppose we broke it up into shorter sentences and used simpler words. Then it might sound like this. The sun is coming up. Tell me, my friend, can you see the flag? Remember, we saw it last night at sunset. Now the night has passed. Is it still there? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming? In the last lines of the song, Key asks another question. He says, "Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?" The Star-Spangled Banner is the American flag. The land of the free and the home of the brave is what Key calls his country. It's another name for the United States. So Key is really asking the same thing he asked before. He is asking, is our flag still waving? And you can see him making that question there. Key asks these questions, but it might seem like he never answers them. In fact, he does. If you ever get a chance to read the rest of the poem, you will see that Key answers his own questions a little later. There is a part later in the poem where he says, "Yes, the flag is still flying, hooray!" But that is in a part of the poem that we don't sing very much. Most of the time, we only sing the part with the questions. We don't sing the part with the answers. Isn't that crazy? So the next time you sing or hear the national anthem, think of Francis Scott Key. Think of him watching the bombs bursting over Fort McHenry. Think of him checking on the flag and wondering if it's still flying. If you keep your eyes on the flag during the song, you will be doing just what Francis Scott Key was doing that night, long ago. And then here's the second part of the national anthem that we don't get to sing. So you could take some time and pause the screen and kind of read over it. You might need a parent to help you. So, let's pause that and let's go to our activity for today. I'm going to pull up the worksheet version. Remember, you can get the worksheet version by clicking on Skills Practice. But it's the same thing as the questions in the skills lesson. Practice just puts it in worksheet form. So it says, reread the story, making sense of the national anthem as needed. So what do the words perilous fight mean? What does the word ramparts mean? What does the word spangled mean? What does it mean that the broad stripes and bright stars were streaming? And what do the words at the twilight's last gleaming mean? So you just go back in the story and define where we read about those different words or parts and tell me, based on the story, what do you think those words mean? Love you guys. Bye.